Welcome back. Minimum wage, labor waits on President Tinubu because, the proposals have been passed to the president through the secretary to the government of the federation. 62,000 naira from the point of view of the presidency, and 250,000 naira from the point of view of labor and TUC. And they have actually said in the past that they are not ready to really consider going below that. Just before I come to you, Kayode, Mazi Okoroafo has come on the line. Good morning to you, Mazi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, our guests. Sir, 250, 62, or 58. That is not the issue. Now, as of yesterday, I think the labor people were addressing a world conference in Geneva. I don't know whether they are back or they are still there. Now, they have gone there to learn a lot. They have gone there to acquire more knowledge. They have gone there, but I was expecting Nigeria, when I was looking for, if Nigerian people at least would be one of the, at least, resource person there and to make contribution in the place. I didn't say anything. Well, let's come back home. Now, it's governors and local government people, this is where the problem lies. If the government are talking this for the federal, the state, what happened to the private sectors? You see, when we are talking, we should also remember private sectors. Private sectors are also part and parcel of labor. They are also part and parcel of human beings. Because without private sectors, the federal and the state cannot survive, or the local government. So if you also can, Nigerian problem is not the issue of money. What we have to solve now is the variables. Make food available, make security available, make all the housing available, make equipment and materials available. Before you talk about salary, even though you bring 1 million naira today, a mudu of beef, or a mudu of rice, or a kilo of meat, 20,000 naira cannot buy them. Don't talk about going to a bag of rice or a bag of this or anything like that. So that is good. But what I want the labor is them. In as much as labor is talking about money, they should also make sure, as they are coming back when they finish their Geneva meeting, I think they are finished. I don't know why they are still there. They should come back home and look at all these sectors that are the variables to make sure those sectors work well. If those sectors did not work well, every year we'll be talking about increment of salary, which will not solve Nigerian problem. But we should remember, vanity upon vanity, all vanities. If you climb up, remove the ladder, you don't want other people to balance it, it is not good. The rate of unemployment, the rate of hunger, I don't know whether when they start seeing human beings corpses on the road, that they will believe that there is poverty, there is hunger.
Indeed.
Good morning, Mazi Okoroafo from Irish School.
Thank you very much, Mazi, for calling in. And Kayode, to go over again what you were saying, and Professor Edmund also alluded to the same thing. It's not so much the money, important as that is, but the support system, the supporting system of this country. The ordinary worker doesn't have anything to survive with, meaning that he has to pay his rent, he has to pay for his own water, he has to pay for electricity. All of these are there, and we just don't know how he's doing it, and that's another problem. Government has been looking away. Nobody knows how the Nigerian worker has been performing the quote-unquote magic, and they wanted to continue to live on that. Would appear to be the view government has, labor has, of what government is about. But if transport was not an issue, if health care was not an issue, if education costs were not an issue, if all of these things were taken care of, then we'll be able to talk. But you and I know, Kayode, that government is not going to be able to do very much in those regards soon. And you had alluded to that point, that government has allowed these matters to pile up through the ages without adjusting appropriately as we have gone. It seems to me very bleak if Labour does what it has said, which is insist on 250,000 naira is where we want to be.
Yuri, this thing is not rocket science. And I slightly disagree with you. I apologize that government will not be able to do those other things that will make labor come down from 250. tell you and the Nigerian people, Yori, that government can, C-A-N, with emphasis, if there is the political will, if truly the Nigerian people represented by the workers are the center of their economic policy. When you sit in front of your house and you see a brand new car going on your street, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that the owner of that car is either a pastor who has a church or somebody who works for federal government as a political appointee. You know within yourself that a worker...
You use the example of a pastor. Maybe Reverend Dominic is listening. He's going to call in soon.
A worker who earns salary can never, it's not possible, own a brand new car in Nigeria. Do you know the message that sent to the society?
Yeah.
The young guys who are coming from secondary school to university, and those apprentices who are working as mechanic or mason or vulcanizer. The message that sent to them is that in this country, work does not make you succeed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting thing you say, Kayode, that, Kayode, you say, if, Kayode, I just heard you say, and I take what you've just said. You said you disagree with the position that government can't do very much. It can, is your proposition, if the workers and the matter and the issue is at the forefront of government's thinking and government's action and government's, what is the word now? Yeah, service. But let me hear from Funsho, who has called in from, I think Funsho is in Minna.
Yes, yes.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning to your guest, Mr. Esuola.
Yes.
Mr. Esuola, yeah. This issue of minimum wage, you see, it has to be taken very serious because, you know, with what is on ground now our living, our day-to-day living, the way you buy something in the market, honestly, that the federal government should look into the issue of minimum wage and pay what is sustainable to the government, to the Nigerian workers, because you see, the labor too should come to agreement with the federal government in saying that what they are demanding for will be able to be paid by the federal government, because to pay 250,000, I don't think the federal government can sustain it.
But you just heard our guest say that, you know, government could if it would.
Yes, on theory, I can agree. But you see, if you no.
Yes, we can hear you. Please continue. We can hear you.
On theory, let me say one thing. You see, I agree, because based on what is on ground now, honestly, even that 250 cannot be enough, because how much do you sell a bag of rice in Nigeria in the market today? How much is transport? How much is the house rent? Like Yabu rightly called, everything has gone up. Everything has gone up. Imagine, go to market, they are selling five pepper for you for 500 naira. So, and you expect somebody to go to market and give 3,000. I don't think it's okay for as a minimum wage, actually. But let's look into the federal government and the labor coming together to agree on a certain amount that will not be injurious to the government and be okay to the workers too. Because let me tell you, Uncle Yori, everything today, if you go to the market today, Uncle Yori, bring the transport today from Mina to Ilorin is 12,000 naira. Mina to Ilorin is 12,000 naira.
Okay.
Mina to Lagos is 22,000 naira. Before we travel to Mina to Lagos with 12,000 naira, 11,000 naira, 10,000 naira, but now it's 22,000 naira. So we already let the federal government sit tight and look into the minimum very well, because it's very, very important. Because we cannot allow we the masses to suffer because we should have a thing, we should have something to benefit from the federal government is not only this minimum wage. What are those people that are now working with the government? What is their own benefit? What are the private sector too? So please let the two sides come together and agree on the better salary that Nigerian workers can enjoy themselves. Thank you very much, Mr. Obi.
Indeed, thank you very much for calling in, Funsho. Dr. Esuola, as you were saying, government can, but there's the proviso, if only they would, as you put it, be quite radical and do a somersault, quite frankly, in their way of looking at these issues. Nothing less is really called for, Kayode, if government is going to be able to do what you are saying, that they can do it if they would want to do it. It would be a radical situation. I'm sure the Minister of Finance and the coordinator of the economy, is going to tell you how that's going to throw all sorts of spanners into the works, and we cannot do it. In other words, it would have to be an emergency along the lines of a war emergency, Kayode.
It really depends on the kind of legacy every government wishes to put in place while it exists and when it leaves. You have a Burkina Faso very close to us in Africa. Of course, I know people will say, what is the population of Burkina Faso compared to Nigeria? That to me is immaterial. We are talking about the political will. A military dictator took over power and took certain painful decisions against the dominant order, against the status. I will drive only one car. I will, as president, military president, take only my salary.
Okay.
And every minister, every commissioner must follow suit. In that country, Burkina Faso, that is not far away from us here, the populace continue to precinct that military dictator, not an elected president, because of what he did. And the idea was that he was able to save, or he has been able to save enough money to touch other aspects of the economy, for subsidy, for structural support, and the citizens were feeling good.
Okay, Kayode, I hear you. I got to interrupt you. I beg your pardon for doing so. Tayo called in from Omale Phase 2. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yes, my opinion is that the government should work on the prices of goods and services. Work on the goods and services so that the money, the minimum wage will have meaning. Because even if you give them 100,000 now, with the current price, the prices will rise further. And there will be no meaning on those, on the minimum wage. So the government will work, and they are already addressing it at the Senate, like all these farmers and house fighting, that people should be able to go to farm. Then the governors also, they are not. I don't see what they are doing. The prices can come down if the government address. Maybe we can even take a leave and bring down price. Rice. Bring down rice maybe for 1 month and flood the market and force the prices down. The rice are coming in. The people, we don't know who are the people bringing these things. And they say the government says they ban it. So who are the people bringing it? So at the time the CBN said they opened the importation for some items, and then let the government import rice. Because I don't know why the rice is so much so high in the market. Let them import rice.
Okay.
Maybe for just 1 month. And force down the prices of particularly the rice.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Tayo. Appreciate your call. I guess the same could be said for things like, have you asked how much a tuber of yam costs lately? I overhear women saying that tomatoes is like almost as good as currency now. That's how expensive it is. What is Atarodo called? They count those ones now. They actually count those ones. So it's not just rice, it's everything. There was a time when even to eat, you went into a bukateria, you'd ask for what you wanted, and you take the stew for granted. I think there are many cases where it's not a matter of if you want a vegetable soup, it doesn't have a price. This is how bad things have become. And that is why we have heard from a number of you this morning that even the 100,000 naira, it's not as if it's going to do anything. But Kayode, surely you'll agree that we're just looking for trouble in the sense that as soon as whatever comes on, there are those who are waiting to increase their prices. The Keke Marwa man is going to increase his prices straight away. The Merua, if indeed you still are using it, is going to say that it's not available for what it used to be before. Everybody is just waiting. And so it seems like it's going to go up. Really, the president, the presidency, the federal government side, they really have their work cut out for them in trying to negotiate this one, even though we've been hearing logical solutions, none of which can be done in the short term.
I don't agree, Yori.
Okay.
Because in practice, that is not how economy is run. People just don't sit down and increase prices based on the logic, the reason that federal government has increased workers' salary. No. The way it runs is that you have a production that you are making. And based on the realities in the market, you calculate to see that if I have this product or this service and I sell for this price, this amount of money that I get should be able to pay my basic bills. That is unconsciously how economy is run. So those who are saying that the market women will just increase, do they have meetings to increase? If you increase your own astronomically, and the other person sells a better bit, they will abandon your good and go for the other one.
Indeed.
It's not about people having that fear that once salaries of workers are increased, every other person will increase. I think that is too reductionist. What is important is that the reality of our economy now supports what the workers are demanding. Government that runs the economy, in fairness to government, knows where the shoes pinch. Therefore, to avoid such picture of people just increasing their prices, which you call inflation in elementary economy, government on its own needs to put certain structures in place so that those inflationary reactions will be very much reduced, if at all they will occur.
Okay.
The state is powerful. After God, it is the state.
Okay.
And it is the government that runs. Government is intentionally, but government can if it wants.
They can. Okay.
Because
I hear you. I hear what you're saying, Kayode, that government can if they indeed mean to. And quite unusually, Professor Edmund has got back on the line again. So good morning to you again, Professor Edmund.
Yes, my brother Yuri. I came back because I was kind of triggered by what you said over there. Trying to compare Nigeria with Burkina Faso. That is, I'm sorry to say that there's no basis of comparison. It's a military dictatorship.
Well, he himself did say that he knows that people are going to say what is the size of Burkina Faso and that it's a military dictatorship. But he was looking.
I'm not talking about size. I'm not talking about size. No. Yuri.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yuri,
I can hear you.
Yuri, I'm not talking about size. No matter the size. Size is inconsequential here. I'm talking about, let's not say because the coup the group's leader decided not to take salary.
Yes.
We should not applaud him. We should not applaud that man for deciding not to take salary. What about other intercoach? What about the contract he's going to award? So there are many ways to kill a rat. However,
indeed, there are. I wonder if Kayode was thinking of, if he was referring to the whole attitude of where the man's heart is, as evidenced by his actions.
let me learn, because time is not in our favor anymore.
Please continue.
Okay?
Please continue.
Yeah, so anyway, what I'm saying is that we must have to be reasonable.
All right.
Issue of minimum wage.
Okay. Okay.
No need of being excessively
I've heard you.
about it.
I've heard you, and as
Because
you were just pointing out, we don't have the time anymore. But thank you, Prof, for calling back in again. You were triggered by the whole Burkina Faso aspect. Kayode, time is not on our side. You heard Professor Edmund. Maybe you just do us a bullet point kind of response.
We have the right to differ. So, I mean, that's fine. It's part of the icing in the cake of our profession. We always differ. We don't agree. But I'm sure viewers will have picked the points that want to take.
I think, yes, you're very right. The point from both sides has been picked by the viewers. But I do want to thank you, Dr. Kayode Esuola of the University of Lagos. As I said, the man's work, that's talking about the president and the federal government, their work is cut out for them. Thank you very much for coming on our program. And thank you to all the people who called in. So sorry, Mr. George, for some funny reason, couldn't get across to us today. That's a one-in-a-lifetime kind of a situation. That's our program today. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Do have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.